Tech was supposed to change everything, and by the numbers, it has. 500,000 tech jobs opened across Africa last year alone. In Kenya, the average tech salary is 3 times the national average. But behind the LinkedIn headlines, there's a quieter story. 70% of African tech professionals say they felt burnt out within the past year. Nearly half have thought about leaving the industry entirely. So, how do you build a career in tech without losing yourself in the process? This episode is brought to you in partnership with Tanqueray Africa. Cocktails in hand, stories on the table, and a gentle reminder to drink responsibly after hours. Ingashian Gibendi didn't take the usual route into tech. No computer science degree, no elite fellowship pipeline, but she's led product at some of Africa's most impactful companies, from Safe Buddha's healthcare logistics to McKinsey's social impact lab. She's one of the ecosystem's most trusted career strategists, mentoring mid-career professionals on how to thrive in tech without losing themselves. We sat down with a career whisperer at the Jabu Rooftop Bar and Lounge to talk about unconventional career paths, product leadership, and how to build a meaningful life in tech. So you've pivoted 5 times in your career based on our previous conversations. So was there a point that you realized that you were chasing someone else's ambition instead of your own?
In 2022, I was at what I like to call my dream company, or I thought was my dream company, because what was a dream company back then? It was like a company that was thriving, especially in the tech ecosystem. I was earning good money. I was working remote. I had like amazing benefits, and I was living the dream, or so I thought. Yeah. And right in the middle of the year, I lost my dad. And I think for the first time in my entire career, at that point I'd been working maybe 6 years. For the first time in my career, I could not work. I was joining a meeting and weeping. Like somebody would ask me, how are you? And I was wailing for 2 weeks straight. And I decided to take a career break. I remember when I took this career break, I was asking myself, if I was truly in my dream career, why do I feel like I'm feeling pressure to go back to work? Yes. I'm in a moment in my life where I am unable to work, but somehow it feels like I have to go back to work. And that is when I started redefining what is like a good career for me. And in that specific moment, the one thing that stood out was a career that will allow me to live life when life happens.
A career that will allow you to live life when life happens.
Because life is going to always happen. And that is the constant in life. Life will happen. You're going to have good moments, bad moments, happy moments, sad moments. You're going to have a child. You're going to go through all these seasons with your family, with your life, with your personal self. And I needed to have a career that will allow me to live when life is happening.
So when you say that, it somewhat connotates to the fact that the career or the dream job that you had was not allowing you to live life when life happens.
On paper, it looked like that because we had unlimited leave days. When companies say you have unlimited leave days, you think you can take 365, yes, many. You can take 365 days off, right? But it's always about what role are you in, what kind of manager do you have, what kind of environment and culture has the company built to give you the psychological safety to do that.
Yes.
And psychological safety is something we underrate a lot. And while on paper, it looked like, oh, this is the right company, the reality was that I wasn't safe enough psychologically, given my role, my manager, the circumstances that I was working in. I wasn't in a safe enough environment to do that.
Africa's tech sector is one of the fastest growing in the world. Over 140,000 startups launched in the last decade. And yet, most of the people working in tech today didn't start there. Over 60% pivoted from non-tech backgrounds often through self-study or informal training. But even with the influx of talent, the gap between opportunity and growth is widening. Senior roles are scarce, career ladders unclear, and burnout is becoming part of the job application. Globally, nearly half of employees in high-growth tech companies have thought about quitting in the last year, not because they lacked skill or opportunity, but because they felt disconnected from the purpose of their work. In a space that moves this fast, how do you keep up without losing your alignment? How can someone distinguish between healthy ambition and the kind of go that eventually leads you to burnout?
I think you have to intentionally take a pause to assess. If you don't assess, you will never know.
Yes.
You really have to do an audit, and you have to do it several times in your life, and you have to do it intentionally. It's very easy to get caught back up. I definitely got caught back up just last year. Like after taking this break and rediscovering what I wanted, like last year, I was in yet another role that was unmanageable, very high pressure, chasing this dream that doesn't make any sense. So you have to decide every year, twice a year, you need to take a pause, assess, think back, do an audit to see where am I at.
Yes.
And that's the only way you will uncover, am I happy?
Yeah.
Or am I just chasing the wheel?
The time. Yeah. So you've worked at companies like SafeBuddha and McKinsey Social. So what would you say from those experiences are the things that are less obvious but very real in terms of the cost of chasing scale and status?
I think first of all, ever since we were children, we have been conditioned to think about our careers.
Yes.
What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, you're Dr. Carson. You're going to be a pilot.
Yes.
You're going to be a software engineer now, which is now like AI engineer is coming up. Ever since you came out into the world, you've been conditioned to think about what kind of career do you want?
Yeah.
When you eventually start the career, it's what next, what's next, what's next, what's next?
Climbing up the ladder.
Climbing up the ladder. Titles, especially in the tech space, because when tech started, there were small companies that were competing with very big companies in the beginning, Silicon Valley days.
Yeah.
And so what did they do? They offered people titles. So you were moving from being like a finance manager in your company, and you're becoming a CFO. And the titles became like a very... they were giving you titles, shares, the things they were offering you to sort of like make you feel like you're making a good career move back then.
Yes.
And if you combine those two things together, the ecosystem in tech plus the conditioning we've had since we were children, when do you think about what kind of life do you want?
Yes.
You're just constantly thinking about the career, and you're chasing that career and moving your life to adjust to that career.
Yes.
During my time when I was pivoting to SafeBuddha, I was moving away from, again, like a smaller title to being a head of department. It was a very prestigious title for me at the time. I didn't realize how much I didn't know. First of all, it's something that a reality you have to face. Like, you don't know anything. They're giving you these big titles, you don't know anything.
Yes.
And you have to be confronted with that very, very quickly. So your ego takes a big hit very, very quickly. And then you have to be confronted with the fact that, like, in a startup, head of product, head of department, it means everything from almost cleaner. You do everything. You do all the tasks by yourself. You have no support. You have no help. You have to learn everything you have like 17 job titles, but condensed into one. But because you're so aggressively like trying to prove yourself, you end up working 12, 14, 16-hour days to try and ensure that you fit into this big title they've just awarded you. And that, like, my life really, really took a hit in that moment. Because I've never at that point questioned, like, what kind of life do I want? I was just really just chasing the title and trying to fit into the title.
Yes.
And that obviously affects your mental health. It was during the COVID years. It's very easy to get into depression. It definitely affects how you feel about yourself, and your entire persona takes a hit.
So practically speaking, then, how do we then design workspaces, especially in this industry, the startup ecosystem, where performance and well-being somewhat coexist? Because, you know, if you look at the hierarchy of where the pressure even comes from, they're probably getting investment from a VC who has expectation within a short period of time, less than 5 years, that you have 10x type of returns. And so that pressure trickles down, but you also don't have enough to build a specific categorical roles within the industry.
Yeah.
So what, in your perspective, how do we then create a career or have that balance within this space?
Madness. Two things. I'd say one, from a personal perspective, choose your founders carefully. So whenever you're going to work in a tech company, and majority of them are startups or in some form of VC funding cycle, choose the founder carefully. I've found that the founder determines the culture. The founder manages what the VC expectation is. They are the direct link to the VC, and they manage that pressure that comes down. I've not done any research on this. There's personal experience. Founders who have successfully exited before make better leaders because they know what it means to successfully exit. Founders who have families make better leaders in terms of creating this ecosystem that prioritizes well-being. Because founders who don't often end up making this company their baby, or it's their everything. They wake up, they think about this startup, and
Yes.
that will transfer to you. So founders who've successfully exited and founders who have families for me make a difference in terms of the culture you're going to find in the company. The manager you work for in that company is also, and even has even a bigger impact than the founder. Who is your manager? Interview them, learn about them, talk to them, figure out what it is that they're about. How do they lead? How do they manage? Will they transfer that pressure to you? Choose your manager even more carefully than the founder. So from a personal standpoint, tactfully choose founders and managers carefully. From a company standpoint, leaders need to be, people who are in leadership positions in startups, one, need to be aware that their ego needs to constantly be in check.
Yes.
You need to have some sort of awareness that I am not everything. I don't know everything. I don't know how to lead teams this big. Because many times companies that have you move from nothing to CFO, and suddenly you have a team of 40 people.
Yes.
You've never led a team before. You need to have that awareness. I actually don't know how to lead people. I need to learn how to lead people. And most leaders in the tech space don't have that awareness. They just think they'll figure it out. It's if I know how to write SQL, I can run a data team. No, you can't.
Yes.
You need to figure out exactly what it means to run a data team. And then those leaders are the ones who can advocate for better work environments. In my company that I work at now, our leave policy was changed because somebody advocated for it. And many times we expect, especially in the African ecosystem, we expect some magical person to change the culture. No, it's you. No one's coming. No one is coming.
Yes.
It's you.
It's
so
you.
We are the ones who can advocate for better workplaces, advocate for better cultures, speak up about the psychological safety issues, speak up about bad leaders, fire bad leaders. It's us, it's you. No one is coming. So I'd say I would say choose your leaders carefully, founder and manager. And remember to have a low ego and advocate for better workspaces because no one is coming.
I find that such an interesting contrast to what I maybe could have somewhat anticipated your response to be. I say this because your answer is rooted to people and not the company or what you need to improve, but about the people who run it or the ecosystem being the things you need to think about being the people, or rather the leaders and the leadership team that is going to make the difference between having companies that make you go absolutely insane and striking a balance. And that contrast also comes in because you are trained almost as you enter the industry to have a sense of conviction that supersedes a lot of things. And so when you mention people with families might be better leaders because they consider they have emotional considerations. Some people might think otherwise because the fact that you have a family means that your time is not evenly distributed. Oh, of course, it's not evenly distributed. You do have to prioritize family, of course you do. And that makes people believe that then you're not going to be a successful founder, especially if it's a female-led organization.
Yeah, there is that bias, and like rightfully said, if you think about it, even the founders that are male, You don't know whether they have families or not. It's not like front and center.
Yeah.
Like, do they have a family? Do they have kids? It's not front and center. But the female ones, you often know, like, they have kids, are they married, whatever. It's a very female bias. Because like, oh yeah, they don't have time for running the company or something like that. But the flip side is they know what it takes, what they have to either give up or not to be able to successfully run the company. And that will pass down to the people they're leading as well.
Do you think that there's some truth in that bias? I don't know if you've ever statistically.
Yeah. I think so. I think so.
So does it classify as a bias if somewhat statistically it shows that is the reality?
I think it's a stereotype.
Yes.
Based off of what many women's experiences are. But that's not every woman's story.
Yeah.
And we are, like, there are, the stereotype comes from women being the primary caregivers, being the ones who raise families, being the ones who give up their career for for childcare, etc. That's where the stereotype comes from. It's not everybody's story, for sure. There's definitely men who are very present, very active, stay-at-home dads.
Terrible fathers even when they're working.
Exactly. And there are and the men who are not primary caregivers are giving up the family aspect to be very, very fast-paced founders. Yeah. And that's why you need like a balanced person.
Yes.
And you also need to ask yourself, what life do I want? Not what career do I want? Because often you're giving up your life for your career.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you personally differentiate between what the industry celebrates and what matters to you?
Yeah, and maybe starting like, what does the industry celebrate? I think we actually have a problem. It's LinkedInese. Like, there's like, I have seen some posts on LinkedIn and I know these people personally. And I'm like, I don't know.
That happens a lot. It's always the people you know too.
I am not sure whether this is an accurate representation
of who this person is.
Of who this person is. But it's a balance. It's not either or. It's not have a LinkedIn presence or not. It has to be a balanced position.
Yes.
LinkedIn is a very powerful tool for your career. Powerful tool. It's like a billboard. It's like you're putting up a billboard in the world, like everybody who has the internet can see. And that billboard opens opportunities. LinkedIn is extremely powerful. LinkedIn is also a little toxic because what you end up seeing is that this highlight reel of people's careers, like, oh my gosh, like they're doing so well, they are thriving, they have opinions and they have articles that they're writing about their careers, and that can become a little toxic. And then you can end up starting to have the pressure to either impress or even start lying or even start like curating this persona that isn't real.
Absolutely.
And so there is power in LinkedIn. Like, if you're authentic and you know how to use it and how to utilize it, it is like a game changer for your career.
Yes.
But at the same time, just acknowledging that it's not. It's like Instagram models. It's not a true representation of every single person you're seeing posting on LinkedIn. And many times, that person who is intimidating you or like is like giving you a bit of pressure isn't really where they seem like they are. So just being able to have that balanced perspective could help you in curating a better LinkedIn profile.
My take on this is that it can be more than just your highlight reel. I think people now are more appreciative of authenticity.
Yeah.
And, of course, posting your accolades or what it is that you're involved in. Two things. Posting what you're involved in and your accolades can also be complemented by some things that you've done that didn't go so good, but there are lessons that you learned from that. So I think my take is that that's where the balance comes in.
Yeah, I
and
agree
not
completely.
you just showing the good side, but also the hard times. That way someone might have a holistic, more realistic perspective of how things are, but also from the consumer's perspective, also a deeper understanding that this person's one post that is showing this grandesque thing that they did can also be yours, because people communicate in ways that could be grandesque, but really it's the truth, and it's just the language that they've spoken. And I believe that everybody has accomplishments. Maybe you've been in a company 2 years and you've done this and that. You're looking at someone else's post and wondering, oh, I want to get there. But if you were yourself was to sit down and write something for yourself, you'll see that you have a lot more to also celebrate within yourself. So that is also a challenge to consumers.
I agree wholeheartedly. The power of LinkedIn comes in understanding how can you utilize it for yourself to, like, it's a tool that's free and it opens so many doors. So how do you utilize it? How do you curate your posts, and what do you write about? Ensure you're always writing. Everybody should write on LinkedIn something. Comment on people's posts, or you should be writing on LinkedIn. Use it. Consume it carefully and with intention, but use it for your own benefits and your own good, and realize that people are just people. Everybody who you see there is just a person, just like you. There's highs, there's lows, there's learnings, there's lessons, there's all those. Life is very rich and very balanced, and just acknowledging that is important.
Is important. Okay, we've touched on a lot of things, but now I want us to practically see how you can actually navigate the noise. And so you've called career navigation a skill in its own right. And so what frameworks or filters have helped you somewhat choose what to say yes to or say no to across not just your pivots, but where you are today?
Yeah, it's one, career navigation is a skill that you can learn. It's just like analysis. It's literally just like networking. It's a skill that you can learn. And we often don't invest in learning how to navigate the career. We invest in technical skills. We pay top dollar for that. And we are constantly learning new technical skills.
Yes.
But very rarely do we invest in the thing that actually makes a difference.
Yes.
There are excellent people who are brilliant, wonderful, top of their game, but they're stuck and they're stagnated because they don't know how to utilize that skill to build a successful career.
Yes.
Learning how to pivot, how to job hop, how to look for jobs, how to get a promotion. All these things are skills, and you need to understand. First place you need to start is understand. Once you know what your goals are, you need to understand what is blocking you from achieving that goal. If you want to get a promotion, audit what you've done before. How have you done it before? Oh, after at the end of the year at the performance review, I've asked a few managers for a salary increase. They've all said no.
Yes.
And then you ask the same way the next year, they say no. You ask again the next year, they say no. Okay, you need to I've done this thing the same exact way 4 different times. It hasn't worked. What's wrong? What's going on? And how can I make it different?
Yes.
And there are people who thrive anywhere. People always say it's about the company. Oh, the company you're at is enabling you to grow. There are people in bad companies growing, and then there are people in good companies stuck.
Yes.
Because it's not about the company. It's often about you, and are you doing
the life you want to live? The
life you want to live, and are you doing the right things to get there? I'll give an example of job hunting. When you're job hunting, you start off with, I'm looking for a job. I'm going to send applications. I'm going to tell a few people, and I'm going to maybe revamp my CV. And then you're going to start applying. You will apply to 500 jobs and change nothing. And you just keep doing the same thing and hoping and praying. It's like, I'm applying. I've been applying since January. What have you been doing? I've been going to job boards. I've been going to LinkedIn. I've been applying and applying and applying. And you're doing the same thing for 10 years. At some point, you have to ask, what's wrong? What's going on? And how can I optimize, change, improve? What do I need to learn? So I'd say starting there is the first area of career navigation. Just starting with what do I know? What don't I know? What has worked? What hasn't worked? And how can I improve it? And how can I optimize it to be able to make a difference? Second thing is realizing the external environments do make a difference, but it's very small. The biggest difference is you. It's really fully you. But how will you ever know if it's you if you've never questioned that? You're always like, my manager is toxic.
Yeah.
This company is toxic. Or have you met that babe? Oh my gosh, she's the one who's sleeping with the manager. That is why she got a promotion. You're always creating these narratives. because it's a gap that you don't understand. So you create a narrative. You've told yourself a story of what could be happening.
And you know that trait, you need to be careful with it, because you can become more and more convinced in your own mind about either something that's negative or positive and run with it.
And you completely run with it.
Yes.
And what I like to call those is glass ceilings. You have a ceiling on your head. It's clear that you can just break through, but you're not even aware of it. And it's blocking you. And it's stopping you from moving forward.
Yes.
Because you've created all these glass ceilings. And so one question I like to have everyone ask themselves is, once you're like, I'm not getting a promotion because I don't have a master's degree. Now you need to ask yourself, is that statement a fact? Or is
speculation?
Is it a perception? Is it a story you've told yourself? And if it's a fact, where did you get the data? Where is the data to support that?
Yeah.
And is there any data contrary to that?
I feel
like it's because I don't have a master's degree.
Yes.
Ask someone who is responsible for these promotions, is it a master's degree? I have seen so many people working full-time jobs and doing master's degrees to get a promotion, and then they don't get the promotion.
Yes.
And now you're frustrated because the master's degree had nothing to do with the promotion.
Yes.
But you decided, it's the master's degree.
Yes.
Let me invest 2 years and like lots of money, and then I'm now stuck again.
Yeah.
And now you're trying something else.
I'm going to add something slightly even controversial there. They're saying it's because I'm a woman. I've had conversations with some men who, again, still in the space, who believe that sometimes women cancel themselves out because once you don't get a yes from an investor or this and that, immediately it's because I'm a woman, women are less funded. Although those are true, sometimes it's about the skill and what you've been able to bring to the table. And if it's not effective, it's not enough, it's not. But if you go and run with that, and then that becomes a social media also complaint and narrative, you've completely solidified that this is the reason why. And if I was an investor coming to you and I see that the product is still shit, then that is just a narrative you've chosen.
And one way to challenge that narrative is, like, I ask myself, are there women who have raised money? Of course there are. What is it about them? And identifying, putting a face and a name to your dreams is really powerful. Like finding someone who has done something that you have been wanting to do. So say one very common statement in this market is, you can't get a job unless you have connections. There's nothing wrong with connections, but that's a very common statement.
You think that's a myth?
I think, one, connections have a bad rep. Connections are often mistaken for nepotism. When people say, I have connections, it's like I have an uncle who works at Kengen, or I have somebody who my dad owns this company. People think connections and nepotism are the same statement. They're not. Connections are networks. Networks can be built and grown. You cannot build nepotism, but you can be born without connections, and you can grow connections. You can get them. It's a network. Connections are networks, and networks are very, very powerful.
And long time. It takes a long time to get networks.
It's truly an investment.
Yes.
It's like you put money aside every month for 10 years. Building networks is the same way. It's an investment.
It is.
And so, do you need an uncle who works at Kengen to get a job? Absolutely not. Are networks / connections very powerful in getting you jobs? 100%.
Absolutely. So if you're not one with connections, how can you make yourself the one that has connections, or build yourself towards that?
Learn how to network.
Yes.
Networking, again, like career navigation, it's a skill. Let me give you the networking journey. I met you today. I've met Jasmine today. This can go two ways. We can either, after this, say, never talk again. We'll meet maybe in the streets. We'll never ever have this conversation ever again. None of us will initiate. None of us will do anything.
Yes.
That's not a connection. That's not a network. It's somebody you know. And you will meet so many people in your life. You have met people in school, people in your workplace, people in bars, you meet people all the time. All the time. But moving from there, I could send a thank you note to both you and her personally.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me over to the podcast. I would love to come over again in a few months if you have time. Or let's hang out. Let's have coffee. I want to hear my tech story.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
Yeah.
Can we have coffee?
We do have a date planned out.
We do have a date planned already. And then from there, I could follow up after 3 months intentionally. I actually calendar it. When I am trying to build a network, I calendar it. I say on the 30th of August, I will reach back out to Alice and ask her, hey, how are you doing? Just checking in. I saw your episode the other day with, I don't know, whoever guest you had. It was fantastic. Great job. And you plant this seed. And over the course of 1 year, we have had maybe 6 interactions. At this point, you know me, I know you, you know about me, I know about you. I've told you what I want, what I need, what I'm looking for in my career. And now, when you get to meet someone else, and they're like, oh yeah, like I'm looking for, I've been thinking about like, you know, my career and I'm looking for someone to help with my strategy, like, I know someone. Top of my mind, I know someone. There are people who I have recommended to jobs that I met very randomly. Like we bumped into each other at the mall, hit me, my plate fell, like randomly.
Yes.
And it's the nurturing of the relationship. It's a skill.
It is.
And it's an intentional skill. When I was starting out in my career, I accepted every dinner offer, for the company. Oh, we're having dinner with, I'm coming, can I come? Because I want to meet people and I want to grow networks and I want them to be rich. And those networks have carried my career through a decade.
Yes. No, I like that you said that. I'm a big believer in networking. I think it's something I like that you mentioned that you almost somewhat do it subconsciously or very consciously, but it's part of your routine almost. Because for me, I've definitely made it part of my routine. It's how I was able to go to South Africa, Joburg, Cape Town, and interview my lovely 9 people that we're going to be publishing on the podcast soon. A lot of it was LinkedIn, but most of it was someone who knows someone who has either featured on the podcast or I've bumped into at a co-working space, or we've had a bit of chit chat and they have connections in South Africa. And so big believer in networking, and my encouragement is for everyone to really just be able to do it subconsciously or part of a routine. Every week, at least 5 people on LinkedIn I'm adding, and I think it's people who I think are valuable. And if you put that over time, then it's people who are worth having in your network.
One statistic that on the power of networking is over 80% of jobs that come up in the market are never advertised. They never make it to LinkedIn. They never make it to job boards. They're filled before they make it to that stage.
Yes.
And how are they filled? Referrals and networking. I'm looking for someone. Oh, I know someone. Before I even write down the JD, somebody has sent me a CV, you know.
Yes, and what was even interesting is when I would reach out to these people, they're like, oh yes, I've seen you, or I've heard your name, or someone has referred to me before, etc. So it's never in vain. It's not, it's a bit of delayed gratification.
Exactly.
And if you're looking for instant results, then that is maybe the first mistake that you make when you're trying to network or grow your career or make a pivot. Within the same breath, and as we close off the episode soon, so what are some of the things that someone can do then to make themselves hireable? So we've talked about building the LinkedIn, making network connections. What else? Even if it's from the CV itself, what are some of the things that you think people should consider?
The gap between unemployment and employment requires alignment across 5 areas. And the very first place to start is understand what area do you need to work on.
Yes.
I actually built a free quiz that can help all people who are job hunting to figure out what is the gap. What are the gaps I have between now and being hireable? 5 key areas. There is activity, which is what we are all familiar with. You cannot find a job if you're not actively looking for a job. And actively looking for a job means sending out applications, looking for referral networking, growing your networks. You're actively doing things to look for a job. So there's activity. That is the one that we're most familiar with. There is strategy. So you have activity, but what is your strategy? And here I mean, I'm applying for jobs on LinkedIn. Is it working? Where are the gaps? What percentages of my applications go through? How many of them get to interview stage? How many of them get to offer stage? Oh, that is not effective. Maybe I should like figure out like, is it referral networking I need to be doing? Or is it my CV that's the problem? Like what's going on? You need to have a strategy. What's my strategy for job hunting? I'm going to apply for 100 jobs a day. These are the platforms I'm going to apply. These are the effective platforms. These are the ones that don't work. So the people I'm going to reach out to. A strategy. Many people don't have that. You need to have alignment across your mindset. There are no jobs in the world. All the 30 billion people who have been employed in the last decade, are they not? What
We've
jobs
never
are they?
not complained about not having jobs.
Never. Never. People have been complaining about there are not jobs since we. In fact, there's a very funny article I read where somebody was like found snippets of articles in the newspaper where how repeatedly we've said there are no jobs and nobody wants to work nowadays. Repeatedly, like for the past decade, 100 years, we've been saying the same exact thing as human beings. There are a lot more people, there are a lot more jobs on LinkedIn today than people looking for jobs. That's a factual statement. So maybe
because then on the other side, you're struggling
to
hire because like, where's the talent? Hiring is hard.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, and finding good talent is
really
even
hard.
more.
How do you know that's true? Because companies pay people for referrals.
Yes, no, really and truly.
And they don't pay small money. Like
people pay to get hiring managers or talent acquisition.
Yeah, people pay for poaching. People pay for headhunting. Because hiring is hard and it's expensive. Because the jobs are there, there's a gap between the jobs and the people who are looking for jobs. And that's the gap that is these 5 alignment key areas. So we have activity, we have strategy, we have mindset. What's your mindset? Is it healthy? Do you even believe you're hireable? There is conversion. Are you converting or are you just doing activity? You have to be converting. If you're not converting, you need to fix something
about
to get
the process.
And this is the fixing your CV. You need to fix the way where you're job hunting. What are you looking for? This is the conversion gap, because there must be something wrong. The problem is that some of us have a strategy gap and we are revamping our CV. The problem is not your CV, it's that you don't have a strategy. And then the last alignment area is, are you visible? Do people know you? Do the right people know you?
Yeah.
Do they know you exist? I am hiring for an analyst. I am paying a recruiter to find me an analyst. You're an analyst in your house. Nobody knows you. You don't have a presence on social media. You don't have a network. You are not posting about analysis.
Yes.
Maybe your LinkedIn says startup leader or founder. And now you have a powerful CEO.
Powerful.
You're a powerful title,
Yeah.
But like, I'm looking for an analyst, And you're like, I can do really good analysis.
Yes.
Who knows that?
Yes.
Who knows? Just you in your house,
Yes, exactly.
So those 5 areas are the areas to optimize to become hireable.
Yes.
And this free quiz that I built, which is on my website, thecareerwhisperer.net, you'll answer a bunch of questions and it will give you a score against all 5, and it will give you a hireability percentage. How hireable are you? How effective is your job search?
Yes.
And so you can just answer that with data.
Yes, and we'll be able to link that in the description if you're listening to this, so that you can also be able to prime yourself for the job hunting industry. Is that an industry? For the job hunting process that I'm sure a lot of people are going through right now. And so I guess my final question to you is, how would you like to leave this episode? What is something powerful you want to tell our audience?
Yeah, I've thought about, and this is a journey that I've gone through even as myself. I feel like I have 2 very different, I used to now, I think like they're more synergized, 2 very different sides to me. In my day job, I'm a product strategist. I lead product teams, data teams, operational teams in fintech companies. But I also run the Career Whisperer, which is a career strategy company that is supposed to, is actively trying to help people build thriving careers, starting by getting hired, but building thriving careers. And where they merge is, I fundamentally believe that if you have the right data, you can solve any problem. And I want to solve problems for real people, with the real issues, and in Africa specifically, I'm very, very intentionally focused on Africa. And one thing about data And anybody who is a founder, anybody who is anybody not a founder, anybody who has used data before knows how powerful data is.
Absolutely.
If you have the right data, you can truly solve any problem. And so I do that in my day job, and I also do that at the Career Whisperer. My goal is to give you and serve you the right data. And then once you have understood the problem clearly, I give you tools, techniques, playbooks, how to solve those problems. Because many times when people come to us, they also don't know what their problem is.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll just be like, I've been trying to get a promotion for 10 years, nothing is happening. I don't know what to do.
Yes.
But that's not the problem, maybe. The problem is that you're trying to look for that promotion in the wrong company, in the wrong way, with the wrong manager. And so the place that I start is, I believe, with the right data, we can solve any problem, and with the right tools, techniques, and technology, you can then help solve those gaps.
Thank you so much. I think this has been a very, very insightful episode. If you've not subscribed already, this is the time to shine. And if you want to learn more engagement with the Career Whisperer, she'd mentioned her website, which is
thecareerwhisperer.net.
And if you don't find it there, you can find it in our episode description. We have been filming at the Jabu Bar and Rooftop Lounge, and it has been such a pleasure. We have had phenomenal drinks. Make sure that the drink of choice is Tanqueray, and I shall see you in the next one.